Okay, this is part 8 of update 6, September 2nd, 2017. This is pretty much what's going on. If anybody were to ask me what did I think was going on in these past few parts of update 6, this is just what I think's going on, simply because of, I tend to have so many nightly and daily visitors, and everything that's been taken from me, which has been every last thing, and it's just not right, people. As far as checking the hurricane thing, when I mentioned a while ago that, what would one do when they feel they're about to lose everything, meaning, an evil entity? Well, they go all out and they just go crazy. They go nuts. They go insane. I mean, more insane than they actually already are. How else do you explain all the crap they're doing? They think it's okay. When you got people that actually think, like, forgive my language, but like their piss is better than somebody else's piss. Are you kidding me? That's just insane to me. I'm sorry. But yet, the great Matt Damon, bless his heart, he said it best. He said the people, now we have another live report from our neighborhood helicopter going overhead. Usually brought to you by only passing overhead when I seem to be laying down voice memos or turn on a device. Good Lord. So I'm just, forget it already. I'm not even going to pause it or cut it off or anything. Anyway, but yeah, so he said it best when he said, it seems like the people that, speaking of insane, he said it seems like the people that are in these institutions or wherever and are being held against their will, and then people that are actually running the country and the world are the ones who need to be in there, and the people that are in there need to be out running the country and the world. Nothing could be more true that I have ever heard, ever, from somebody I don't know. That is so true. And like I've already said before, I don't want really anything to do with that, but only if like nobody else wanted or was able to do something, and then of course, but I don't think we're going to have that problem. Anyway, I'm going to close this out now, since this is the last one for tonight. The one thing I wanted to mention before I do let you go, though, I've had this one note down here and it says bald. And I never cover it because it's just, a bald head, big deal. It's a bigger deal than you think, people. And it gets a little even sensitive because, well, it kind of has to do with, now again, this is just the way, and I have to clarify, it's the way that I comprehend things, okay? But because I have had so much happen to me, and have had way more to do with these beings than I want, and ever wanted. There is something to being bald. Some guys think it's just a machismo type of fashion statement or style or statement or some kind of statement or whatever. I have not found that to be true at all. There seems to be a much deeper meaning to that. There's a few on that side that will say, well, as you always notice, the heavenly bodies that I mentioned yesterday, like the heavenly bodies that seem to be in a lot of ancient, art and everything. Why do they always all have long, beautiful hair? You know, I don't mean that to sound kind of weird, but they all have, let's leave out the beautiful, but they all seem to have long, you know, nice long hair. And, you know, I'm kind of all for that too, because I just, you know, nothing against bald people, because, you know, guys tend to lose their hair, but I just think people look better with hair, you know. I mean, I don't, you know, but some people say it's kind of acts like an antenna, which if you look into it, you'll find that to be more true than you expect. That's all I'll say about that. But there is one more feature about bald, or the subject of baldness or whatever, but being bald. And for me, I can't understand why they actually, and I think it's for them to make the particular person at hand a little more, how shall I say, obvious to them, or what am I looking for? Identifiable is, I guess, what I'd be looking for, the term. Now, unfortunately, people, I can't, until I can find out that it's a little safer. I'm not really so concerned about me, because I've had things dropping around me the whole time I've been talking to you today during this segment. And I won't get into it because I'm sorry, I'm just not going to let their fear get to me. But yeah, but for safety reasons, not necessarily because of me or for me, but well, I'll just have to touch on that later until I know that it's a little bit more of an appropriate time to explain that a little deeper. But as I can only translate that, it seems to be an easier way to identify something with them and their particular entity of beings that they are. And we'll just call it as that evil entity as they are. All right, so don't think too much into that one, but that's the way I translate it. Before I let you go, let me just recommend a couple of things. I don't know how often I'm going to be able to do this for, because it takes a lot of effort, and it's, you know, I can't do it by myself. It's way too much for me to handle, but I hope what I put out there helps in some way someone. But I would recommend looking video-wise to looking at something called I looked at something let me just put it this way. This is a fact, so I don't have to say maybe, whatever. Okay, I looked at something one night called the 1976 interview of somebody named Harold Wallace Rosenthal. I believe that was the name, 1976, Harold Wallace Rosenthal interview. And when I walked away from that, after listening to that, I was so red and angry. And I could not understand why nothing was done up to that point, legally or however it had to be corrected. That's how strongly I felt about that, and I think you will too. There's something else on there, up there online, I think you might want to take a look at, called Must See Assassination Survivor, or Assassination Failed, Survivor Speaks Out, or something. And it ends up being somebody that talks about, you know, how, if you look at what I have up there called The Big Show, it gets into the supposed, you know, certain explosive devices that are buried underneath the seabeds of just about every continent, namely the ones in the east, to cause explosions or tsunamis or what have you. I didn't find that comforting either. And just know, people, somebody over here loves you, and cares about you very much. I love each and every one of you. Take care. Bye-bye.